I got my first turntables in the LA riots, man. I'll never forget it. We were all in the dorms when the riots happened. There was fires all around us and stuff. And there was two crazy white dudes from Memphis, Tennessee. I'll never forget them. And they wanted to go out in the LA riots. So we went down Slauson and all of that, Crenshaw, and people were breaking into all these electronic stores. I was looted. I went in there, grabbed my turntables and my Newmark mixer, and I ran out. I seen Tone Loc and Ice-T driving a Pearl Lexus at Circus City in Santa Monica. They were looting. From your phone call saying he just blew his knee out to the rest of their camp, by far my worst camp ever. Dude, when I was fighting, I never took damage like this.
You were the MVP of that camp because Dewey sparred this man 5 days a week
in a phone
for
booth.
3 weeks in a phone booth.
The worst time of my life. In 3 weeks, I got hit more than I did in fucking 15 years in training camps. I'm like, Francis, I'm your coach. I'm getting older. I think I was like 47 at the time. I'm 50 now. I'm like, Francis, I'm your coach. Like, we'll work, but be cool. Francis punched the shit out of me, man.
What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of Verse Us with Eric Nicksick. He is Eric Nicksick. I am Randy Fainrich, and this is Verse Us. And today we are joined by the man, the myth, the legend. They call him the Black Cobra. Been in combat sports 40 years, boxing, kickboxing, MMA, anything you want. Coach to some of the biggest names you have ever heard. And our brother, Dewey Cooper, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
God, it's about time, dude.
Yeah, about time.
Man, we were waiting on you for.
Man, we've been texting you forever, bro.
I felt like Kanye West. I'm like, y'all don't like black people or something? What the hell going on? This is my brother from another mother. I talked to his mom, but I talked to this guy.
Facts.
I'm like, help out the show. No, I'm joking, guys. Real quick though, small disclaimer: the views of Eric Nicksick and Randy does not reflect.
Whatever.
I can tell it's gonna be one of those.
Bro. Whatever.
Oh man, this is our
you
Christmas.
Got me spilling shit now, bro. It's already spilling shit on my shirt, man.
This is our Christmas episode. Merry Christmas to everyone. Couldn't do it with a better guest than you. I don't even know where to begin with this. We have a lot of history.
Man,
the three of us.
So much history.
It starts with that shirt you're wearing right there.
I'm sure I need to get that shirt, guys. Such a legacy we built, man, from a bouncer to a bartender to world champions to leading the forefront of the next generation and fighters, man. We're blessed to be here. And by the way, guys, we're real friends. We're real family. I love this guy. I love this guy. So don't think this is just because of training, man. We've created real bonds that I'll never forget, and I truly love these guys. I love these guys. Just to get that out of the way.
Same for us.
And you got video evidence.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely. So let's maybe start kind of. You know, you mentioned bouncer and bartender. I remember for the Stipe fight, that was like something you guys, the rematch, I should say. Yeah. That was something you guys kept saying. Kind of take us back, Dewey. Take us to when you were growing up. Like, you know, what was life like? How were you kind of balancing, you know, combat, your own career, coaching, and obviously working?
Yeah, well, as a kid, you know, I grew up in Los Angeles, California, and as you guys know, I'm a lot older than you guys. So, right when the LA drug gang bang thing started, I was a little kid growing up. I got 3 older brothers. They're rolling 60s Crips. They've been to jail. My brother dealt crack. He used to take me to the crack houses with him. As needless to say, there was a lot of violence around. So I ended up doing martial. First of all, my dad boxed in the military. My oldest brother Rasheen was a boxer. My brother Junior and my brother Paul, they just beat people up on the streets and stuff, especially my brother Paul. I'm the youngest of 8 kids, so obviously there's 2 sisters between me and my next brother, my older brother. So I love my brother Paul. I like to be around him a lot, and he was, you know, into this gang thing. And so I was in really bad environments a lot. My dad worked at Edwards Air Force Base, 4 days on, 4 days off. My mom was an RN at Tarzana Hospital in the Valley. So at night from 3 p.m. till midnight, it was a free for all. Back in the days, it wasn't like it is now. Like your older siblings took care of you, and it was what it was. Anyway, I was in a lot of bad areas and got in a lot of fights, man. And luckily, through so many street fights, I actually joined a martial arts gym myself. It was one of the first Muay Thai kickboxing gyms in all of America. That's the Jet Center in Los Angeles. And I trained there as a little kid, and I just loved martial arts.
Benny the Jet?
Yes. I just loved martial arts. From there, as I grew up, I had several amateur fights as a little kid. They called them smokers back then. It was 3 1-minute rounds, headgear, gloves, shin pads. These were Muay Thai fights. I came up from a Muay Thai background. After that, I trained with D. Cozine, Muay Thai gym, small Muay Thai gym. The coach had just came from Thailand. Then I got with Eddie Flash Newman and became a BKF member, the Black Karate Federation. Got my black belts through him, and I just fought all the way up from a small kid all the way my entire life. Went through a long amateur career. I had 145 amateur kickboxing fights. And then I turned pro and 49 and 18, 20, 19 and 3 as a boxer and 3-1 as MMA. So what's that? 96 professional fights combined now. So
how do you and Ray Cepho?
Yeah. Ray's definitely only Ray's definitely the only guy in this town that has more fights than me.
Yeah.
And me and Ray came up together. Ray helped me a lot back in the 90s and early 2000s, man. I used to spar with him all the time when he came to Vegas before he lived here. Ray is like, I call him Big Bro. He's like 100%. A big brother to me. He helped me out a lot.
Yeah, we had Ray on last week.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, we were talking about you and how we all kind of made this bond when Ray was fighting World Series of Fighting.
Yes,
you know?
yes. I'll never forget
Team
that.
Voltron.
Yes,
you,
that's
me, and
right.
Ray.
Yeah.
That's right.
Danny Davis.
That's right.
Is that, how did you guys kind of link together?
Well,
was Francis the first one?
No. We were Ray Cepho. Well, so Dewey and I were friends prior through Micah Fonasev.
Yes.
So Micah Fonasev, cut man for the UFC.
Yes.
A firefighter. Mike was my paramedics instructor when I was going to school. So that's how I met Mike. And then Mike's like, man, I'm good friends with Dewey Cooper. That's how I met Dewey.
Yes.
This was, years
ago,
17, 18 years ago.
And remember, Mike, I gave Mike his first cut man job.
Yep.
He used to box and he wrestled also, but he was a paramedic, so he wanted to get into the cut game and all of that. So I had already turned professional in boxing, and I had Mike actually work my corner. He was my cut man coming up. So Mike and I are very close. Him and Mike were very close. Mike likes to drink a lot and stuff. He's going to his bar over there.
Yeah, he coming over to 3 Angry. That's right.
And so I met Eric, and Eric was always an awesome, cool guy. I played a lot of sports in high school too, football, basketball, track. He was definitely a football guy and a super athlete. So his personality just gelled with mine right away. I like athletic, jock type, alpha type dudes. So when I first met Eric, we're always cool since day one. The first fight we worked together was Ray Cepho's fight in World Series. But after that, we trained so many fighters together, from Kevin Lee to just so many guys, man.
Yeah.
So many guys.
What's up, guys? Thank you for watching the show. I appreciate all the comments, all the love, all the support. But if there's anything we can do better, if there's guests you want to see coming on, let us know. Put it in the comments. Tell us what we can do. Now, back to the show.
Kevin, we'll get to that Kevin Lee story, I'm sure, in a little bit.
That's why I said earlier, the views.
No, you're gonna be talking about it, not me. So take us. Let's kind of. I know we jumped forward a little bit, but let's go back to when you're turning pro. Did you go into boxing first, kickboxing first, Muay Thai?
I did kickboxing. Yeah, I was doing Muay Thai all the way up. I didn't turn professional boxing till later. But I turned professional in Muay Thai, and I had a lot of Muay Thai fights back in the 90s, from like 94 till 99. I got signed with K1 in 1999. K1 started in 93. So from 94 from when K1 started, I was still an amateur, right? The first year. And that was always my dream to get into K1 because they had the most awesome fighters at the time. That was like the UFC is now. K1 was the premier top of the line guys. Unfortunately, they only had one weight class, heavyweights, and I was a cruiserweight. At the time, I weighed like 185 pounds. So anyway, my dream was to become a K1 fighter, and I watched K1 from 93 all the way to 99. And after I won my first world championship, the WKF and WKC world titles, K1 selected me. And it's a crazy story. This guy, Charlie, what's Charlie's last name? Charlie worked for the commission.
Oh, the old guy.
Yes, the old guy.
Yeah, he just retired
yes,
too.
just
Oh,
retired.
yeah,
and
Charlie
remember,
was-
if you guys remember the first UFCs, he was the guy who walked out with the top hat and stuff. Like UFC 1, 2, there was a guy who would
Charlie's an OG.
come out with a top hat. He was involved with all of them. Anyway, Charlie was the one who negotiated my first opportunity in K1, man. So is that my
you?
phone? Was that me or you?
Come on, man. You know
Come
I show up
on,
to game with jelly on my
Dewey.
face.
Jeez.
My shit's on. Do not disturb,
Yep,
pal.
same.
Oh, my shit should be. Sorry, guys. For fuck's sake.
For
By the way,
fuck's sake.
that's my sister Katie, Karen Cooper. Today's her 56th birthday. Happy birthday,
Happy
Katie.
birthday.
Happy birthday.
So yeah, I got signed with, I was already a champion before I got signed with K1.
And you already moved to Vegas, though, right?
Yes, yeah.
Because you went to high school at Las Vegas High.
Yes.
What year did you move to Vegas? Not
We
to cut
moved
you
to
off.
Vegas in 1989.
Okay, 89.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
So you weren't there for the riots in LA.
Oh, no, but I was back in college then.
Okay.
I went to Santa Monica College
Oh,
after
shit.
high school.
Oh,
you were-
okay.
And I was there in the LA riots. I was actually involved in the LA riots.
Yeah, you were throwing the brick.
Yes. Not throwing the brick, but I got my first turntables. I do a lot of things. I used to rap.
You're proving Dewey's point over and over and over.
I used to
again.
rap, break
Don't
dance,
listen
all
to
kind of things. I got my first turntables in the LA riots, man. I'll never forget it. I
Wait,
swear
how'd
to
you get
God.
those turntables?
Well, I'll never forget that day, by the way. When that shit happened, Santa Monica College didn't have any dorms or anything.
Yeah.
So all the athletes stayed in the Northrop Airplane University dorms in Inglewood. By the way, famous football player, Isaac Bruce, played for the LA Rams. He went to college with me.
Oh, yeah. Great
Isaac-
show on turf.
Yeah.
baller.
Isaac was my man. He went to SMC.
Yeah.
Then he transferred to Memphis State, and the rest was history. We were all in the dorms when the riots happened. There was fires all around us and stuff. And there was two crazy white dudes from Memphis, Tennessee. I'll never forget them. They had cars. We didn't have cars. We were riding the bus and stuff. And they wanted to go out in the LA riots. So we went down Slauson and all of that, Crenshaw, and people were breaking into all these electronic stores.
Oh, shit.
And I seen this electronic store.
Do not incriminate yourself here, sir.
It's too long now. Yeah, I was looted. I went in there, grabbed my turntables and my Newmark mixer, and I ran out and got my first pair of turntables in the LA riots. I'm not happy to say that I was young, guys.
Yeah.
As a
No,
grown
it's all
man, it was
good,
the wrong
brother.
thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was definitely involved in the LA riots. I seen Tone Loc and Ice-T driving a Pearl Lexus at Circus City in Santa Monica. They were looting. I swear. Tone Loc and Ice-T were driving around in a Pearl Lexus, and I seen them.
Real
They weren't-
inconspicuous.
Bro, that's a
they
movie.
weren't really looting, but they were out there for the
Yeah.
cause.
Yeah,
And it was
of
a
course.
Circus City. I'll never forget that. I couldn't believe it.
That's insane.
That's how real it was about the LA riots. But yeah, man, crazy times.
So you were fighting at that time still?
Yes,
or
yes.
you
But as you know, when you're in college, I was playing football, so
can't
I
be-
couldn't fight, but I was training every day.
Right.
So from 92 till 93, almost 94, I wasn't fighting. I still trained every single day.
Right.
Like literally, we had weight training, football practice. Then I would go run on the track. I had a friend named Shannon Riley. She was Pat Riley's niece.
Oh, wow.
She used to run 5Ks all the time. So after football practice, we would run together on the track at Santa Monica, and then I would go do my kickboxing training. So I was training like 4 times a day, even back then. I've always trained, never took days off. Train on Sundays. That's one thing Ray Suffolk always said about me. I train too much. I literally train every day.
Yeah, we see that. We see that even on the road, man.
Yeah.
Still have that mentality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shit, we were doing 24 round
Yes.
boxing cardio
yes,
conditioning
yes.
things.
I'm back on that now.
Are you really?
Yes.
That's funny.
I finally got moved to a new place. The schedule's good. So yeah, I've been training crazy lately, man.
So
Crazy.
so Vegas,
Yeah.
Santa Monica to college.
Yes.
Back to Vegas.
Yes.
When'd you get set up with One Kick?
Well, I knew One Kick back in 1990. Nick opened the gym, and this is before I went away and played football, college football. Nick opened up a gym, and I'll never forget. We're gonna go sign up because we were already doing Muay Thai. He opened up the first Muay Thai gym out here, but my friend went in first, a guy named Curtis, and Nick beat him up. Nick actually sparred a 16-year-old kid. Curtis was a cocky, good martial artist type, so Nick put that jab on him and leg kick, beat him up, so we didn't go there. So I didn't start actually training with Nick until about 1994.
Crazy.
Because we thought he was a crazy ass, Viking ass white dude.
You're right.
He was big and buff.
Right.
He was big and buff and had long blood hair, and he was mean back then. But now I know why.
Yeah.
Him and his wife had just cheated on him and left him, so he was mad at the world at the time.
Did he find the guy that she cheated on him with?
Yeah, he definitely got him. I don't want to incriminate him, but put it this way. The last person you want to mess with, woman, is One Kick Nicks. So he made him pay for it,
So
for
he
sure.
definitely got him. All right, so you're in Vegas. Are you, because I know, like you said earlier, you did MMA, kickboxing, Muay Thai, and boxing, all professionally.
Yes.
Are you doing these at the same time? Like, are you
Well,
having a match in January boxing and then kickboxing in July? And
Well, not at first. I was strictly only kickboxing. But when I got, once my K1 contract got signed, remember, I was fighting cruiserweight. 190 was the limit. 190 pounds was the limit. K1 only had one weight class.
Yeah.
They hadn't started the K1 max yet, guys.
Yeah,
The
right.
welterweights. It was only heavyweights.
Yep.
because you
And
fought
so-
like Gary Goodridge and all those guys from back then.
Yeah. So I had to gain weight, and like I was lifting weights, doing powerlifting, taking creatine wasn't out yet, but protein shakes all the time, and my weight was like 197. I couldn't get to 200, and remember, I had to be 200 to fight. So, I just like would weigh in my shorts. I would put roll quarters in my pockets just so I could make 200 because that's all we had. Remember, guys, in kickboxing fights, man, there was never any money in it except for K1. When I won my first championship, I think I got paid $2,500, and that was considered a lot.
Right.
You know what I mean? So you go from making $1,500 to $2,500 to making $15,000 to $45,000 in K1. The money was so
Crazy.
great,
Right.
and that's why. First of all, it was my dream to fight in K1, to fight those guys that I admire so much. But that's why I was willing to do it, because the money was no less than 10 times more than what I ever made. So that's the reason. Everyone always asks me, why'd you fight heavyweights? There was no other options.
Yeah.
K1 only had one weight class, and they offered me a contract. I'm not gonna, have a dream of wanting to accomplish something, and then once you get that opportunity,
Fall
not
short
do
of the
it.
finish line.
Yeah, you got to take those fights, and I truly believe to this very day, a fight's a fight. If you're on the streets, if you're at the mall, if you're in a bar or a nightclub with your girlfriend, and the biggest guy in the world runs up and grabs your lady and disrespects her, you're gonna fight him.
Right.
So unfortunately, fighting is a sport, so that it should be even playing fields with weight, size, and all of that. But at the end of the day, if you're willing to fight someone on the street, you definitely should be willing to fight them in a ring or a cage.
I mean, you just saw that the other day with Usek and Fury.
Yes.
Right.
Fury outweighed him by
Yes.
60 pounds
Incredible.
in this rematch.
Yes.
By the way, what'd you make of that fight? I know we were texting
Man,
during
Usyk,
the match. But
I knew he was going to win. I thought he'd win better than last time, and he did. There's a lot of debate about the fight. People saying Tyson won.
No
And remember,
way.
I got love for Tyson Fury, but Usyk won. Tyson only outpunched him one round of the entire 12, and that's the fourth round. He landed 11 shots. Usyk landed 10. Every other round, Usyk landed more shots, and more importantly, the smaller guy landed the bigger shots. Watch that fight. Tyson fought his best fight, by the way. Fury was really ready. He fought a great fight, but Usyk is just that guy. He fought a greater fight. He landed the bigger shots. Every round, he landed more punches, and he just the smaller guy, but he had the bigger spirit, and he won the fight 116 and 112 exact.
Yeah.
That AI robot, though, is a little weird, having a 118 and 112.
Yeah.
And isn't it funny, guys? Like, The AI robot's definitely much smarter than me and anyone in this room, but someone didn't program it correctly. The AI robot didn't know about the 10-point must system.
Yeah. 10-10
Come
round
on.
1.
Yeah, there's no 10-10 rounds.
Yeah.
10-point must system means one guy gets 10, the other guy gets 9.
Yeah.
Automatically discrediting the AI robot. Like, what the fuck are we doing?
Round
That's why you got the weird score, 118 to 112.
No.
Yep. Yep.
So what do you think's next for Usek?
He has to fight Daniel Dubois
That's what I
over
thought too.
because Dubois, that was a legal blow,
That was
guys.
the
He
body
should have
shot.
stopped him with a body shot.
100%.
However, Usek did what he does, got up and stopped him. And I think Usek will stop him again in the rematch because he'll expect the body shot and be prepared for it. But Usek should have a loss on his record for sure.
Sure. So you think it's a good time for our boy to go get that Tyson Fury fight, go get that rematch?
Man, Tyson Fury probably doesn't want to fight Francis right now. They're already talking about Anthony
AJ.
Joshua and Francis. But you know, hey, there was 3 great fighters of this era. The era's ending now with Usek, but you had Tyson Fury, you had Anthony Joshua, and you had Deontay Wilder.
Mm-hmm.
Francis has already done unprecedented things by fighting Fury and Joshua, his first 2 fights.
Sure.
Might as well fight that third dude.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, it wouldn't make sense for
Wilder
Francis not to fight Francis not to fight Deontay Wilder.
See, but wasn't that the fight like when we all saw this coming about, the boxing? That was the fight we all wanted to begin with, right?
Yes.
We were like, let's shoot for the moon or shoot for the stars. Well, I don't know which way you go, but let's hit something. And Tyson Fury came about. We're like, oh shit.
Yeah.
See, we kind of knew Fury would be crazy enough to take the fight.
Yeah.
So that's why I was Fury. One thing about Fury, man, he's awesome. He's fearless. He's animated. He's awesome. And he fought a great fight yesterday. So I understand why it feels like he won the fight. He honestly fought the best I've seen him fight.
You think so, huh?
Yeah, meaning because the punch output, his speed, he stayed focused the whole time. He wasn't playing around.
Do you think he made an error coming in as heavy as he was with as good as he looked? Do you think he made an error coming in as heavy as he was?
No, because had he been lighter, he definitely wouldn't have had the strength to deal with Usek. And it's weird. He had the right idea, but he fought the wrong fight early on. He went boxer mode early on because that's his true nature.
Yeah, do you think you've been a little bit more heavier on him?
Yes. Yeah, since he gained the weight, the whole plan was supposed to lay on him and bring it to him the way he started doing in the fight, but it was too late for that. And he was getting hit with too many shots when he tried to go beast mode. Because one thing about Fury, the reason why we weren't too worried about Francis fighting Fury, I can give the plan away now because Fury is a magnitude puncher. He don't knock you out other than Deontay Wilder with one shot. He just mentally exhausts you with his shenanigans and his skills, and then he breaks you down mentally, then he stops you. So we weren't worried about Fury landing a punch, knocking Francis out, and he landed many right hands and it was nothing because he's not a power puncher like that.
Volume.
He's a volume guy. So with Usek, it's just a bad matchup. Usek is a cruiserweight like I was, so he has more speed than him. He has more skills, and he's big enough to absorb their power. So Fury had the wrong game plan the first few rounds, and that's not what Sugar Hill wanted. He wanted him to go forward and press him and lean on him. Yeah. He was imploring him to, come on, go forward more. Lean on him, rough him up. Had he done that earlier in the fight, it would have been a different outcome later. He waited way too late and took too many punches before he went to beast mode. Took the tread off the tires, and it goes back to, we can lie to everybody else, but we can't lie to ourselves. Fury is a boxer. He's a natural Muhammad Ali type, in and out, move a lot boxer. It's hard to make those guys go Tyson mode.
Right.
You know what I mean? Right. You would have think, and the last thing I'll say about it, because I know I'm talking too much. Sorry, guys.
No, this is why we have you, baby.
This is why you're here.
You would definitely think I come in at 280 pounds. This guy comes in at 226 pounds. I'm walking his ass down, leaning on him, grappling, clinching. The referee's going to warn me 3 or 4 times for leaning on his neck and shit. You would have thought he was going to do that, but he came out boxing. Yeah. And it was a great fight. Man, it was such an exciting fight to me, but he fought the wrong game
On that
plan.
point, can I say how great, your game plan was in the Tyson Fury fight, where like we did, like after every practice, you made Francis do like 3 rounds of straight clinch work.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes,
And then
yes.
Francis was fucking dudes up in the clinch.
Oh my God.
Right. Because you knew part of the game planning is what is this guy going to try to implement against us?
Yes.
You're like,
yes.
we're going to be fucking
Yes,
dirtier there.
Yes, and we knew when Tyson started clinching with Francis, he was gonna have that old shit moment.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
That's exactly what happened, you know.
Yeah.
And it's funny, since we're talking about that fight, I'm not gonna mention his name. We don't do that because we do have integrity. But we had some great sparring partners for that camp. But there was one guy acting like he did something, or talking shit on the internet about this and that, and how Fury was gonna beat Francis. He's the one guy who got beat up every time
day.
they sparred.
Yeah.
Bro, that dude, when you showed me that, not only did that dude get beat up, I'll peel back the curtain a little bit. I won't say his name, but not only did he get beat up, he was on Bambi legs from the jump. Every round. Francis would already have done 6 or 7 rounds.
Yes.
He would be the fresh body in round 8. And then
What,
dude would
like
come
giving
out,
him 1 round.
literally
Yes.
1 round. And I always made the analogy for any of you guys that watch NFL or college football out there, when you see a quarterback in the pocket and they're like really like antsy before they throw.
Like Nico yesterday from Tennessee.
From Tennessee. That was this guy. He was on Bambi legs, like jumped, like he was so scared. So for him to say all that shit, it was crazy.
And then not to mention the best part was when the big guy, when Francis was getting pissed.
yes.
Pissed. And then I was like, I would hype him up. I'd hype up Francis.
He would take it out on that.
I'm like, yo, knock this motherfucker out. You be talking shit,
Yeah.
bro.
Yeah.
Like you can tell. And Francis be like, what? Fucking. I'm like, yeah, dude, you should just knock him the fuck out. Like, cause I was instigating that shit.
Yeah.
That dude was a bitch.
It was hilarious. Francis doing gentleman work with everyone and get on this guy and beat the hell out of
Bro,
him.
he tried to knock him. Bro,
I felt bad for that dude.
If Francis could have leg kicked him or dropped an elbow on his forehead, he would have done
100%
it.
would've.
He would have double legged him and beat the fuck out of
He
him.
almost threw him out of the ring like 3 or 4 times.
And
over the
guys,
top.
Oh, yeah.
think about what we're saying. He's already sparred 2 guys. The third guy comes in,
Fresh.
and we're begging him to throw punches. Like, dude, you only got 2 rounds. Give me hard work.
Yeah.
Punch Francis, please. We're in Francis' corner begging him to punch Francis because he was so afraid to punch Francis.
Exactly.
And he's the guy on the internet talking shit
Yeah.
about how sparring went. It's
Yeah.
crazy world, man. Crazy
Like, bro,
world.
throw punches.
Please.
Please.
Please,
throw
we're paying
punches.
for that.
Literally. That's so funny. I
Yep.
forgot all about that. Like
Yep.
Francis's own corner was like, bro, hit him in the
Please
face.
punch Francis, man. You know, we're trying to beg this guy to punch our guy because he was so fucking scared in there.
Dear Lord.
I want to talk about Fury and Francis, but real quick with Usek, what do you think that Usek is a generational great, or do you think that he is just great in a generation that maybe doesn't have as good a heavyweights as maybe we thought?
Definitely a generational great.
Yeah.
Definitely. No doubt. Because his pedigree, he won gold medals in the other generation when guys still worked tough in the Olympics. He unified the cruiserweight belts. Then he went and unified the heavyweight belts. This guy's the real deal. I mean, I always thought, to me, Evander Holyfield was probably the best cruiserweight ever. But I hate to say it.
Yeah.
You got to say it's Usyk, man.
Yeah.
It's crazy for me to say because I still love Evander Holyfield better.
Yeah.
Usyk's an awesome guy, though. But, yeah, he's definitely the real deal.
Top to bottom, one of the best
100%.
southpaws ever.
Pernell Whitaker, I say, is the best southpaw ever. But as far as big southpaws, absolutely. The only guy you could say in the heavyweight division is someone like Chris Berg. And Chris was great, but Usyk is next level, man.
Yeah.
Usyk is an all-time great. He'd have been great in any era because Usyk has the old school grit. And by the way, we know one of his sparring partners, Alex, the guy we love. And he told me what Usyk does for training. Guys, Usyk trains like 126-pounder 3-4 times a day, not once or twice. At least 3 sessions.
Yeah.
And that's why, by the way, in the fight yesterday, or I know this will be delayed, so in the fight against Fury, the rematch, he never weakened. He got strong.
Yeah.
The pace was the same from round 1 to round 12.
Got better.
In heavy, and got better, actually. Who in the heavyweight can deal with that, man? You're not going to outpace him. So he's freaky. And any era he would have been freaky because he has toughness. He has a good-ass chin. Tyson Fury hit him with some hard shots, especially those uppercuts. He took him with no problem. Usyk's one weakness, because, you know, God makes sure, God, Allah, whatever you believe, he makes sure we're not perfect.
Right.
His body is his only weakness. And now he's going to work on that in the Dubois fight. So I don't see anyone beating him until he steps it down.
No one in the heavyweight division, huh?
Unless they could land shots that could put him out. But we thought that by Joshua. I thought Joshua would eventually hit him because Joshua has lights out power, and he couldn't do it any of those times.
Yeah.
So that's why I say, by the way, he's a generational talent. It could have his skills translate in any era because he has great boxing ability, great athletic ability, old school grit, and man mentality. He ain't on that pronoun shit. He's a real man. And
the views of this show,
I love it.
And he trains hard. Eric, Randy, there have probably been a lot of great champions, but what separates the champions from one another, it has to be the work ethic.
Next one up.
Some guys get this money and do less.
They think they made it.
So Usek has that Floyd Mayweather gene. When you start making all this money and fame, you stay in the gym and you stay training. And that's one thing he's done because Alex told me.
It's a great point, man. There's a switch that hits when those guys like the Tom Brady's, the Kobe Bryant's, the LeBron James, they know that they're the best, but they want to try to lap you.
Yes.
They okay, I made it, but now how are you going to try to catch me?
Yes.
Right? And they always have that next gear, something else they want to work on and get better at.
And think about that. That's the hard thing because you know how it is before we won championships as coaches, Eric. You want to win championships. You want your guy to win the UFC title, the PFL title, Bellator title, one championship. And once you get it, you would think, okay, finally we did that. Now I'm awesome now. No, you want more championships.
Yeah, what's next?
So as a fighter, you have to keep that. And if you don't, you won't hold it long, man.
Yeah.
We see it too much. And I don't know what it is about us as humans, man. Success breeds complacency sometimes.
Sure does.
Man. And you have to just stay hungry. You have to make yourself go.
Well, we said that right after he beat Stipe. We didn't even get in the back yet, and we all looked at each other. Remember? And I said the real work begins today because now it's the challenge, right?
Yeah, because we thought it was going to be Jon Jones.
Thought it was supposed to be Jon Jones.
And right after that, we said, "Where we going? Disneyland." And we took the picture.
That's right.
We're smiling. I'll never forget that because I still got the picture.
Yeah.
We had the biggest smiles on our faces. Man, it was the most awesome moment
you have
ever.
To send me that so we can put that in the thing.
I'll send it to you.
What a great experience that like just that whole camp was for Stipe alone. Like, we were
the rematch.
Yes, like we were underdogs, of course, but just that experience alone, just for getting like during COVID and the Jairzinho fight and then getting pushed back and then waiting on DC and Stipe, and all the while just biding our time and getting our work in and doing everything we're supposed to do behind the scenes. Yeah. But remember that, bro. Like we won the fight, and I remember Dana coming right in the back going, when will you guys be ready for Jon? Remember him asking?
I remember. We're excited about it, because guys, even though we're coaches and, we've been doing this shit a long time, we're still fans of this shit. We want to see the greatest matchups.
Yeah, 100%.
We want to see that Pacquiao Mayweather when it's time, not 5 years later.
Right.
We wanted this Jon Jones Francis fight 3 years ago now.
Yeah.
We wanted that. And the best man will win, guys. And just because you're saying, we're the best, we'll beat this guy, you're always supposed to expect success and manifest success. If it doesn't happen, man, it's okay. It's not the end of the world. We're gonna live regardless of the outcomes of these fights, but real champions want the best competition, guys.
100%.
It's not cocky. It's not disrespecting some goat or whatever. It's about we want that smoke. That's what we're here for. Yeah. If you don't want that smoke,
to compete
you're
against
definitely
the
in
best.
the wrong arena.
Yeah.
This is fighting. And as far as MMA, this is the highest level, most dangerous level of fighting, So People freak me out saying that Francis is scared and this and that. No one's scared. When you get world champions, no one's scared. And I can say for sure, Francis wasn't scared and we weren't afraid of the moment either. We wanted the moment. We were like embellishing the opportunity to be the person that dethroned the GOAT Jon Jones. That's one thing for sure.
We talked about this a couple weeks ago on the show. That version of Francis after the second Stipe fight, what does he do to Jon Jones?
Man, let me tell you something.
He smokes him. I'll answer it for you.
I say, he would stop him because Jon wouldn't be able just to rely on his wrestling. Not saying Francis' grappling is better than Jon's, but it's formidable. And I'm gonna tell you right now, Francis grapples way better than what you guys think. If you go back to the promo, Francis did his first Gymshark, maybe not his first Gymshark big commercial, but he did a big Gymshark commercial, and Gymshark were at the gym giving us free stuff and interviewing us. And I said before the Stipe fight, Francis was gonna smoke him. And they said, how could you say something like that? Stipe dominated him last time. I said one word, experience. We knew that it was a bit premature, the first fight with Francis and Stipe, because he hadn't been through any hardships. And he wasn't wrestling all the time in that first fight against Stipe.
And you were there for that first fight.
I was definitely there. I'll never forget it, man. Francis was knocking everybody out. In the camp for that fight, guys, he literally knocked out every sparring partner. Brutal. I mean, Francis got nice and learned more composure and stuff once he went to Couture's. Before that, he was just beating up people, man.
Yeah.
And sparring at the PI. We did all the work at the PI, and he literally knocked out every sparring partner. I was like, Francis, like, and by the way, it's against my personality to say take it easy, because I do believe in hard sparring. But I was like, Francis, you got to take it easy. We're bringing guys from Brazil, bringing guys from LA, bringing bodybuilders in there. We couldn't get any big guys. He knocked everybody out. So you know, we just things were coming too easy for him. He was knocking everyone out. You guys know about the Overeem, great knockout. And so in the Stipe fight, he just wasn't experienced enough to handle, you know, that match. And, you know, he was going back and forth from France to Vegas. And, you know, you seen what happened. It came down to inexperience. Therefore, in the rematch, we knew he was experienced.
Little Texas de Brazil, maybe.
No Texas de Brazil. The grappling was on point. And by the way, remember, when it comes to the grappling and wrestling, that's not my field of expertise. But I'm always watching and I'm always learning. Still to this day, I pay close attention to it. I was so confident going to the Stipe fight because I seen where Francis' wrestling was. Francis had decent grappling even before the first Stipe fight, but it was more man strength than just overpowering people.
Yeah.
Once he got over there, and by the way, I was asking Francis to go there a year before that, and I'll tell you something, and not shooting anyone down, because people are supposed to be loyal to their people. Francis went to the other gym, you know, because Forrest recommended that gym. Robert Forrest was still alive. I was trying to get Francis to go to Extremes.
Yep.
And my reasoning was not to talk about that gym. The other gyms here are awesome too. I knew you guys had the heavyweights and the bodies you guys had. Vinny and all those guys there. He had a bunch of heavyweight bodies that I knew would push him. Because Francis' whole thing at that time, he was so raw, he needed to be pushed, and no one was strong enough, talented enough to push him.
Yeah.
You know, he was knocking people out so quick. We were gonna do 5 rounds of sparring. He knocked out 2 guys in 2 rounds. We gotta hit past the next 3 rounds just to get 5 rounds.
Yeah, him and Tim Johnson hit it off right away.
Yes.
You know, because Tim was in there grinding, and
Yes,
Roy
Tim was
Nelson,
there.
and we had a lot of other heavyweights that were in the gym, Ronnie Marks, and guys that were doing a lot of good things. But yeah, you're right. Right away, I think Francis really fell into like the team element.
Yes.
But all these guys grinding, pushing each other every day. And, you know, being around that type of environment, I think really, you know, rubbed off on Francis in the right way.
Yes. Yeah. And that's the difference. So when I started watching how his grappling had got not just strength based or athletic based, but it got information based, him stapling the leg and all this shit that I know, because you guys are teaching him that shit. I ain't know shit about stapling the leg, you know, all these different technicalities that I seen. It wasn't him just like one day when he was sparring with Big Country, I can talk about this. It's hilarious. Big Country they were sparring at Big Country went to take Francis down, and Francis just reached around and really literally corkscrewed his head off.
Yeah.
We're like, but
chin ripped him,
Big Country let him go, but it's like, holy shit, is that legal, man? Like, you can grab somebody's chin and just rip their head. He was doing stuff like that before Couture's. And once he went to Couture's, his grappling got so good, his awareness, his knowledge, his transitions. I said, dude, no one's beating this guy. I knew it right there.
Remember, we would have to like stop, like he would be going like Bagoy, world Sambo champion. And we'd have to like, hey, you got to let him up.
Yeah.
You got to let Bagoy up. And he's like, why? Like, dude, it's fucking TKO, dude. Like, you gotta let him up. Like, you gotta start the round over again. And Bugoy be like, thank you, Jesus Christ.
And think about Francis. People don't realize he actually loves to grapple.
Yeah.
You know, like we'll be doing pads, he'll grab and take me down and get on top. I'm like, hey, get off me, man. I hate when he does that. You know? You know. So once his grappling was knowledgeable and he wasn't like just going off strength and athleticism, I knew. I said Stipe is going to get dominated. I knew it. So it was no surprise to us, man.
Yeah, that was definitely a moment.
But since we're talking about Francis, we got to talk about one more thing. The most terrifying camp when he tore the knee. The gun fight.
Yeah. Well, that's where we're saying like everything was coming together.
Mm-hmm.
That version of Francis
scary. Beats anyone.
Anybody, bro. I mean, holy shit. Because so you take the Stipe camp and what he did against Stipe and then just keep evolving into a full MMA fighter.
Yes.
That version of Francis, I mean, again, like, you know, we're saying this and
hypothetical,
but dude, like that. Okay, let's just say
respect.
That was our best version of Francis that we had ever seen
Yes.
in a complete package of an MMA fighter at the heavyweight division.
Yes.
The guy who can knock you out with any hand, who can kick,
Yes.
who can grapple, and who could submit you.
Yes.
Like it was insane what he was putting together against top level UFC fighters in our gym.
Yes. Yeah. And we were excited about that gunfight because you guys know the
backstory,
the history. That Francis before the knee injury, guys, I can truly say, and by the way, I got a lot of love for Gunn. He's a sweetheart of a guy.
Yeah.
He would have stopped Gunn, guys. I'm telling you. Francis fought Gunn with one leg, guys. Like, you guys don't understand. I fought with a torn ACL, completely torn ACL. Francis did the impossible that night.
Torn ACL and MCL.
Yeah, he fought a guy who knows him, his ex-coach, you know, who's trained by his ex-coach on one leg, guys. On one leg and still got it done. Defended the UFC strap on one leg.
And lost the first 2 rounds.
And
could have got dejected.
And by the way, guys, like you said, the camp was going exemplary. It was great. Everything was good. Those last 3 weeks turned to the twilight zone, bro. It was dark. It was. I'll never forget that camp because that's
when I called you. Yeah, when I called you during that.
From your phone call saying he just blew his knee out to the rest of that camp. By far my worst camp ever, dude. When I was fighting, I never took damage like this, dude. I'll never forget that camp. That was the worst camp,
dude,
ever for me.
You were the MVP of that camp because, he couldn't grapple. He couldn't do like cage work and all that stuff, and couldn't move the way that you typically move with him.
Yes.
Dewey sparred this man 5 days a week
in a phone
for
booth.
3 weeks in a phone booth. Like, Dewey, you took your lickings in that camp.
The worst time of my life. In 3 weeks, I got hit more than I did in fucking 15 years in training camps. It was the worst. Because remember, if we were kickboxing, I still would have got beat up, but I could have did something.
Right.
We had to box in a telephone booth.
Yeah.
And by the way, I told you guys, Francis don't know his own strength. You know this.
Right.
I'm like, Francis, I'm your coach. I'm getting older. I think I was like 47 at the time.
Yeah.
I'm 50 now. I'm like, Francis, I'm your coach. Like, we'll work, but be cool. Francis punched the shit out of me, man. It's like he thinks he's going easy, but he's hitting fucking hard, guys.
Yeah.
I'm like, it was the worst camp ever. I said, man, I'm going to get punchy from training this motherfucker.
And meanwhile, we still don't even know if we're actually going to fight.
Yeah.
So we're calling audibles and trying to figure out how to get through the next 3.5, 4 weeks with him wearing like an NFL lineman knee brace.
Yes.
Right? Shooting fucking stem cells in his knee, trying to do, okay, how are we going to get through this camp? Yeah. And not only that, not let people know or figure out that he's got this fucking knee injury.
Yes, understand the context. That is why I had to be the one taking the damage because we couldn't bring sparring partners in and tell them, hey, go easy. We couldn't let anyone know. So the camp was confined to me, you, and Markel and Francis. And so that was the hard part, keeping it enclosed. So I had to be the punching bag the rest of the time. That's the only reason. And like you said, we didn't know he was still going to fight. He knew he was going to fight.
Yeah.
We didn't know he was going to fight. And actually, we wanted him to pull out.
We did.
I was sick of getting punched in the head.
Yeah.
And we thought it was a wise decision to pull out. And
those
you guys know what
motherfuckers
happened.
don't give a fuck about you, bro.
Yeah.
I'll never forget when you said that. It was the four of us.
Yep.
I don't think Markel was back in LA.
Yeah, because Markel called me on the way to sparring that day.
Yes.
And Markel's like, listen, I know that this is not your place to do this, but I'm out of town. I just got off the phone with Dr. Elatraj. They recommend that you guys pull out of this fight. And I was literally on my way to the PI for our last sparring session.
Yep.
That was the Friday before fight week.
Friday before fight week. And that's when we pulled up. And I was like, I had tears in my eyes. I'm like, bro, like, listen, you know, I
we
talked
have
to
it all on
Dewey.
film.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
we
mean, I
all
talked
agree.
to Dewey
We all agree.
before, and I said, listen, bro, I have to break the news to him. I said, I don't want to put words in your mouth. You say whatever you feel, but this is what I was told. This is how I feel about the situation.
As your coach, as your brother, I have to tell you, I think it's a bad idea to fight with this like this. What do you gain by fighting injured? What's there to gain? If you knock this dude out and we win, okay, then what's next? But what do you have to lose?
My God's honest truth as a coach, I say no because we haven't kicked in 2.5 weeks and we only sparred boxing one time in 2.5 weeks. I would say pull out.
And with his anecdotal experience fighting with a torn ACL in the past, he's like, it was the worst mistake I ever made in my life. I should have never fought with that torn ACL. You know, and then we sat there and told Francis the entire time. You know, people heard this story before, but you know, just for the history, we thought that it was the best time to tell him, like, listen, let's pull out. And we said to him after, let's take the knee brace off and let's spar Xavier with no knee brace and let's see how you do. And Francis proceeded to fuck him up and beat his ass and then make him eat our own words at that sparring session. I remember looking at Dewey, I'm like, well, what do we say now? Like, he looked great.
First of all, I knew Francis, when he took it that far, was willing to take the knee brace off, I knew he was going to fight. I said, this fucking guy, he's definitely fighting. I knew it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Should we tell, like, the car?
Yes,
the car
that's what I was
ride?
going to say, yeah.
So you weren't out there yet because you were coming out, I think, on Tuesday.
Yes.
So we fly out Monday. We go to Anaheim, right? People have heard this story before, but it's one of my favorite Francis of all time stories. This is the best. So we end the Friday sparring session with this deal. The deal was we're going to go see Dr. Elatraj. When we get to LA, he's going to put his hands on, he's going to MRI, he's going to check. And if Dr. Elatraj says you cannot fight, he's going to pull out. This is the week of the fight, mind you.
Monday, right?
Monday.
Yeah.
And then we're like, all right, Francis, deal. That's the deal. We're all on the same page. All right, let's go. We go out. We go down to LA. He wants to go to see Dr. Elatraj the moment we land. He takes a car. He goes to Elatraj.
Me and you go do happy hour.
We go get happy hour. Yep.
Because we both are like, we're not fighting. Like, we know, or at least I did. In my mind, I'm like, we're not fighting. Like, the knee's not there.
That's the knee's not there. He's still out of town. I believe Markel went with him, right?
Yes. Correct.
And then me, you, and Julia went and grabbed lunch. So we're like, fuck it, happy hour, you know, about to end, you know, if you find out our fate. So he's waiting on comms, waiting for the call. Do I even fly out? You were driving.
Yes.
Do I even drive out? So we get the call from Markel and Francis to pick him up. We pull in, we pick him up, we get in the car. And we're just waiting, kind of just dead silent. So I said to Francis, I'm like, what's the deal? And Francis is sitting in the front seat. We're all in the back. And he looks back and he goes, we're fucking fighting, boys. And they're all just like, yeah, fuck yeah, dude, it's on. All right, hell yeah. So it was about a couple minutes go by. And finally I was like, well, what did he say? Like, what did Dr. Elatraj say? Your knee's good? He goes, oh, no, my knee's fucked. He said, don't fight. It's not a good idea. But we're here anyway, so let's fight. I'm like, this motherfucker. So I just remember, like, all the stress.
Out of there.
I'm like, dude, it's on now. Like, it is what it is, you know? And, like, that from that point on, I didn't worry about a fucking thing. Because I'd been worrying. I probably had an ulcer for the last 3 weeks of like, what are we going to do? What are we going to do?
Yeah.
We can't lose this guy, blah, 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 blah. Like our guy's fighting on one leg and we're going to lose this fight and then we're going to have to blame it on the knee and all this, like everything. The moment Francis is like, yo, bro, I'm fucking fighting, but I don't give a fuck. And I'm like, let's go, bro. This shit's some legendary shit.
Yeah,
Called him, get on the road, baby. We're fucking fighting.
We even made a pact. We said nothing negative the rest of the week.
That's it.
We're
That's
going
right.
to defend that
You
strap.
did say that. Yep.
Yep.
We ain't even bring it up one more time.
Yeah, and then we had great sessions that whole week. And,
you, me, Usman.
Yep, it did. He shocked the world. Well, not shocked the world. He showed the world how great he was. And the world didn't know on one leg. But the last thing I'll say about that, if I'm fighting a guy, right, and if I'm a coach, and my fighter is fighting a guy, and he's never worn a knee pad before, and he wears
They knew.
I know,
like
but if he's wearing a knee pad, all of a sudden, I'm telling my guy to go after that leg kick city. You know what I mean? So
stomp it, oblique kick, something, right?
For Gunn not to really attack that leg. It comes down to, I really think he was afraid of the punching power.
Well, they pulled the reverse Uno. They're like, that's a trap.
Yes.
We're like,
you're right.
Yeah, trap it up, baby.
They did. But I'm thinking part of that psychologically, you're kicking that leg, you worry about that right hand,
that counter coming back.
You know what I mean? And
I remember calling Herzog and asking Herzog right when they happened, and I'm like, you're my boy. I'm just asking you hypothetically, what are the rules? How does it work? Herzog told me neoprene sleeve has to be this. We ordered like 8 of them, different styles, different this, different that, and wrote Andy Foster to make sure that was all cleared prior to even us getting there. Remember? It was like, so when we walk in, here's what we're wearing.
And right before the fight, there was an issue.
Bullshit.
Still trying to give us bullshit.
Yes.
And I remember,
luckily,
I will say, I remember all of you were, but Usman specifically was like really fighting back the commission and was like, what are you talking about? Like this, that. He was like feeling it. He was like doing all this stuff. He was like really like in the corner with us.
Yeah,
he was.
But you're gonna be like that. But then you're gonna have commissioners ask for pictures. In the back,
dude.
Like
that's a whole.
Can I get a photo? And I'm like, yo, bro, like we're about to fight, and he's getting his hands wrapped. Yeah, remember?
Yes.
And commissioners are like, hey, can I get a photo? Like, how unprofessional is that? But you're gonna you're gonna grill us on a fucking neoprene sleeve. But now you got your guys.
Nicksick does not reflect it.
Come on now.
The guy,
but they were bullshit though. That was bullshit.
But hey, hands down. Back to the fight. 2-2 going into 5. And I'm like, I just remember like that was our moment. Our moment together. Of like, yo, bro, we're gonna pull this shit out. Like the energy, the vibe, everything. Like we knew that there was nothing that was gonna stop us going in that 5th round.
I believe in you, motherfucker.
I believe in you, motherfucker.
Take this punk ass down. I believe in you, motherfucker. Hey, we've been through so much shit together. This is you. You understand me? This is you, kid. Let's go. Pull it up.
It gives me chills every time.
And everyone thought Francis would gas out late. We knew he had the gas. We knew he would throw out later in the fight, and that's why we
all
had
that
so much
jump roping, all that extra cardio he was doing after that all paid off.
Yes, I'll never forget it. Yep.
So I got to say, like, this is something too. Like going back to the last Gane fight, I have to bring this up. When camp started, my best game planning always will come through Francis, because Francis was the one that trained with Gane.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And I said to him, on the ground, what does this guy have? And he says to me, you know what he's going to do? He's going to go for my legs. He's going to go for my feet.
Yep.
And I know that because one of the jiu-jitsu coaches always said something about my feet, that my feet were big and easy to heel hook.
Yep.
Right? And Francis told me that straight up. He goes, this guy will go for my leg. Watch. And this is like before any of the knee injury stuff. This is like we're writing the game plan out.
Yes.
I said, okay, show me your leg lock defense. What do you like to go to? How do you like to blah, 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 blah. And he showed me how he likes to get out and the transition. I'm like, perfect.
Sits on it.
Drill that. We're going to drill that over and over and over. Sure as shit. Round 5. Gane scores a takedown.
Yep.
And what does Francis do? Kind of dangles his foot. And that motherfucker went for the fucking heel, and I lost it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh shit, he's gonna go for the leg lock. We're gonna reverse him, sweep, and he kicked the leg and scissor swept him. We got on top, and it was all Francis telling you, knowing that guy was going to go for that fucking leg.
Yes.
He sure as shit he did. And he just did it again against Alex Volkov.
Yes.
Just did it again, bro. Learn your lesson.
Yep.
Don't be going for fucking heel hooks. Leg locks don't work.
Yep.
Unless you're a jiu-jitsu expert.
Right. Well,
Like
quoting
Hanato
Vinny, my boy.
Canuto level
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah,
Then
Craig
it's
Jones.
different. Yeah.
I remember I was in the back. It was right after Moreno and Figueiredo.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Had just fought.
Great fight.
And we were in the locker room with Moreno, if I remember
Yeah,
correctly.
he was in the
he
same
was.
locker room as us.
So
yeah.
he's back there after their war. He's kind of all beat up. We're watching the fight. Gane gets the heel hook, and they're like going nuts. They're like, oh, he's going to finish him. He's going to finish him. And I'm sitting there, and I'm like a little nervous, right? I don't know too much about jiu-jitsu, but I remember that conversation. And I'm like, he's going to sit on his foot, like in my head. And he did it, and he swept him. And I remember Brandon Moreno, like clear as yesterday, he was like, "Jiu-Jitsu Francis!" Like just screamed. And he was like, "Jiu-Jitsu Francis!" And he's all like beat up after his fight, but that shit was so funny,
Francis
man. Like,
Nurmagomedov.
Yeah.
Ngannou
Yeah,
Nurmagomedov.
all the memes with
Yeah.
that. Oh, that
So
was
so
awesome.
let's give some of the backstory stuff.
yeah.
Death Row Records.
Yes, we should talk about that.
That shit was
we
great.
should talk about that.
So I remember you wearing the Death Row shirt.
Yes.
Yeah.
Come to
because-
Death Row.
Yeah. Yeah. It was some of the it was kind of like the story behind the story, which is like, you know, Fernand Lopez versus Eric and Dewey, pretty much. Because that was what people were saying. Like they were making it about Francis being at his gym.
Well, who was making
And
it about that?
I say they, I mean Fernand. Like
Yeah.
it was him, you know. But yeah, that's why Eric
The backstory, a little bit on the backstory too. I want not to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
But we were saying about how there was sparring footage that was being released.
yeah.
Yes.
And who had the footage, who was putting it out there.
Yeah.
And the only comment that I made was like, I said, I don't film sparring, me personally, nor do I air sparring footage. Right? That's what I said publicly.
Yep.
And I said, to each is their own. It's not what I do. It's not my style and whatever. Well, he used that and took Francis's YouTube video of him sparring Blagoy, who had permission to use the video, who Blagoy said, sure, no problem, and said that, oh, we don't air sparring footage.
Right.
This guy's a hypocrite. Look at this.
Yeah.
And made this whole Instagram post about me being a hypocrite.
And by the way, the footage was like, if you remember, it's not even, they're not even really like punching each other. It's like, they're like
Shadow
this.
boxing. It's warm-up.
Yeah. And then against the cage a little
Right.
bit. And that's like the end of it. Whereas, you know, they were releasing like entire rounds and, you know, things
Right.
like that. So good.
So that's kind of where he posted about me.
Mhm.
I commented on his post. I'm like, hey, bro, this isn't about me and you.
Yeah.
You've done a marvelous job getting two fighters in this position that they're at.
Yep.
Let's not make it about coach versus coach.
Yeah.
And
Right.
they had you do a press conference.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And why is that?
Yeah.
Has ever been a UFC coaches
Media day.
day?
Yeah.
No. But I get a call from Nobby, and Nobby's like, hey, would you mind doing a press conference? I'm like, for what? Well, we have to be fair because Ferdinand wants there to be a press conference, and we have to ask you if you'd. I'm like, are you serious? Like, why? This has nothing to do with me and him.
Yeah.
Right. And, you know, we kind of ran some laps around him in the press conference. We did our thing, but it had nothing to do with
We went
us.
2-0 that weekend.
Right. Yeah.
Yes.
So that's when the Death Row shirt started to
Yeah.
come out.
Because you know, you don't want your producer
all up in the videos, dancing,
singing. Come to Death Row. So that was like the whole thing.
The thing is, though, you know, when I was training Francis, he would be out here in Vegas training with me, and then Fernand would come out. I was always cool with Fernand, but you know,
and so am I.
Yeah.
you know, so there was never a
It
problem.
was just a moment.
And the
Yeah,
thing
the
is,
moment,
guys, I was like the blonde-haired girl, oblivious to any of this because they always spoke French. They never spoke English.
Right.
And so I guess French is such a suave language. You can't tell if people are arguing or not.
It sounds so nice.
It sounds so nice.
I
all the
mean,
time.
so there may have been times where things were uncomfortable, but I never even sensed it because they were speaking
Yeah.
French the whole time. So
And my relationship with Ferdinand was always like very nice and very
Cordial.
professional and very cordial to this day. Like I have no issues with this man.
yeah.
It just so happens like our fighters are fighting, and it's never been about the coaches
Yeah,
ever
it got
in
bad.
my
It got
career.
bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never had that.
Yeah, it was very uncomfortable. It got bad because, and I'm just glad it came out on our side. Imagine what the narrative would have been
Yeah.
had it went the other way. And
Yeah.
then we come out with the knee problem. Oh,
Right.
Yeah.
it would have been bad. But the universe made it the way it made it, and
I do appreciate
those are
like
great
after the
moments.
fight, like Ferdinand and I had that moment. Gave him a big old hug because I know what it feels like to be on the other side of that.
Yeah,
You know
we
what I
all
mean?
do.
We all do. But I think that moment humanized us.
Yes.
It was like, hey man, like this has nothing to do with me and you. Your guy's going to be fighting for world titles later on, somewhere down the line again, and all the best of luck to you and your team. And that was that.
So we'll fast forward a little bit. Obviously, that's his last fight in the UFC. Before fighting Tyson Fury. As you two specifically, what are you guys talking to each other about during that whole process? Like not only his leaving the UFC, but then getting the Fury fight. Like what is your guys' communication like? Because you have other fighters, obviously, but this is a big deal. It's on national news, national stage.
Yeah. See, thing is, we didn't know for a long time. Him and I did a podcast for the Smo, and we talked about Fury and Francis fighting way before it materialized. But we just didn't know what was going to happen, man. So it was kind of a sullen moment, like what's going to happen. But once the news came out, we were excited about it because one thing I can say for Eric and one thing we can say about me, we believe in Francis. We know if he puts the work in, he's already done so many incredible things getting here, from his trip in Africa and all of that, being homeless in France and becoming the UFC champion. He can accomplish whatever he really puts his mind to accomplish. So we never doubted him even beating Tyson Fury. We went to that fight from training camp all the way to the ring with confidence that Francis was about to make the biggest upset in sports history. And I felt like we got kind of done, That was our moment, our iconic moment for sure. It just ended up not happening. But the whole camp was awesome. We just trained him. We're happy about it. Mike Tyson being involved to the degree he came through when he came through. And we just stayed happy. Talking about just keep him in shape, keep his mind relaxed. Don't let the pressure get to him and just work a lot, man.
Yeah, I think that was the thing that we noticed the most in the beginning was like, we actually talked about that after the Stipe fight was I could see the powers that be where their mentality was maybe a little bit of divide and conquer.
Yes.
And we knew our roles, right? I'm the drummer in the band. He's the guitar player and Francis lead singer, right? So everybody wanted to say, well, get in your ear, be like, oh, how come, you guys aren't helping negotiate this? Or how much money would you make if you did this? Like, that doesn't matter. Like our faith relied in our fighter.
Yes.
That's all that mattered. And we cared about one another. We cared about each other's successes, and how to put our guy in the right position. Yeah. And like he said, like, we just believed in him, and I think for me, like the competitor, of course, wanted to see have the opportunity to compete against a guy like Jon Jones. Yeah. Well, unfortunately, that didn't happen. But let's get the next best thing, and let's go fight Tyson Fury. Yeah. Holy shit, we're doing what? When I got the call from Francis, he was like, "Yo, Bubba, guess what?" And I'm like, "Get out. No fucking way." We knew a month ahead of time. So we couldn't say anything for another month. And so we already started training like that July.
That's right.
And kind of keeping it off the record, or we weren't posting anything. We're just doing our thing behind the scenes, So nah, man. Not to jump too far ahead or anything like that, but my favorite Dewey Cooper moment of all time was the I Believe in the back.
That's what I was going to get to.
In the back with Tyson Fury. We were talking about that not too long ago, and do we ever have that on video?
No.
Oh, bro.
No one captured.
How would you not have it on video?
Yeah, I know.
You have
video
everything
recorded
everywhere.
Video everything, man.
But,
because it was that moment.
It wasn't
It was that
scripted.
moment.
It was.
But let me say this.
Yeah.
The best part about that moment is it lies in here now and in here for all of us.
Yes.
And we can only tell the people that the story about it was my favorite Dewey Cooper moment of all time.
Yeah.
Was when you got everyone in that room to repeat that I believe. And you said it with conviction and power. And the moment was just, bro, it was so fucking perfect. It was a goddamn locker room moment.
100%.
And you looked right at me and you go, "Eric, do you believe?" "I believe." And I'm like, "I believe, motherfucker." And then you went around the room and got everybody to repeat it. Izzy, Usman, Markel, him, everybody that was in the room, right? Before he walked out. And then that moment of hitting that hallway and then them doing their dumbass fucking
Spartan
300
chant.
thing.
Yeah.
But we had already been riding on this energy that nothing was going
Yeah.
to beat us that night, no matter what.
Hold on, before you dive in, I just want to give a little bit of the backstory because I want to know what led you to say that in the moment. But I want to go to right before we left for Saudi Arabia, the last session, one of the last sessions we had at the gym. Do you remember him saying, I wish I had more time?
Yes, I remember him saying.
So as a coach, all of us were there, I believe.
Yes.
As a coach, when you hear him say that, what's going through your head? Because clearly you know that like your fighter's nervous. He has some anxieties.
I just knew because that fight has never been done. A guy, remember, guys, you're going to say Conor McGregor. Conor McGregor had amateur boxing fights.
Yeah.
Francis, to go in there and fight a 10-round fight, his first fight, most guys do 4, 6, or 8 to fight a 10-round fight against the undefeated lineal heavyweight world champion was crazy. So I knew there would be some reservations and some doubt there.
Mm-hmm.
But I just knew we had trained enough. And I knew he would be ready. We had, like you said, we got that 4 extra weeks. Were so valuable. You remember. So I knew he probably was listening to the headlines more than believing in himself. You guys, we're all human. If you keep reading some shit, it happened. It happened when I was training Jesse Vargas. We won the world title by knocking out Saddam Ali, but the Pacquiao fight got a little too crazy with the media. If you answer a question 50 times a day, if someone says this to you 50 times a day, I'll never forget this. I learned that from Jesse. And by the way, that's why the Believe speech came out, the experience I got from the Pacquiao fight with Jesse Vargas. Every day Jesse had to answer questions like 30, 40 interviews for, let's say, 3 straight weeks. And every day he heard, you are an underdog. You have no shot. How can you beat Manny Pacquiao? Dude, I heard him answer that question 1,000 times, no lie. And it did something to him psychologically. Yeah. Not saying he wasn't trying to win, but sometimes you start listening and believing what you're hearing a little bit, maybe 10% of you.
Right. But that door creaks open.
It creaked open. The light definitely slid through a little bit. And so when Francis said that, I said that's a Pacquiao moment. And I knew we had to make him shut that door closed and truly make him believe. Because I felt he was going to stop Tyson. I said he's going to knock Tyson Fury out. But anyway, I got that a little bit of experience from that. Just like he told you about the foot, that was my little key detail.
Yeah.
And so I was happy he said that because now we knew how to attack it.
Right.
We knew he was going to finish sparring with 3 different big-ass heavyweights. By the way, guys, Francis was the smallest guy that he was sparring. They were all bigger than him. They're all giants that he was sparring. So I knew when we got to Saudi, we had 3-4 weeks. I knew he would finish strong, and we just had to keep hammering that, you're the man. You're gonna beat this guy. You're gonna shock the world. And that word believe, that's where that came from.
You did a really good job, Dewey, of putting camp together, right? Like you did a masterful job of not getting him discouraged early on.
Yes.
Like it was like you were giving him small doses of what he needed to build him up. Like if you were the conductor to an orchestra, you fucking really put together a masterpiece all the way to the end of the way you wanted it to be, the training to the last 2 weeks of sparring. Because hey, we're only going to spar four rounds of sparring. Yeah. And you'd bring in Carlos Takam and that was it. 4 rounds. Why are we only doing 4? Trust me, this is what we're doing and how we're going to build it up and how we're going to finish this year.
Yes,
you know,
building his confidence slowly like that.
Yes.
But just introducing him to the technicalities of boxing. Like he was always he's an athlete, but it was small doses of what he needed at the time and really just built this confidence as it went all the way to the fucking last week of sparring, you know? And, you know, by the way, right. He was looking for a boxing coach all the while. Remember?
Yes.
I'm like, there, right here.
Yeah.
He's right here.
Yeah. Do you remember that meeting we had at his house?
Oh yeah.
Where
most uncomfortable thing ever for me.
Really?
Get beat up by him for the gunfight was the most grueling, painful shit. But that was a very uncomfortable moment for me because guys, I'm not greedy, man.
At the end of the day, like my thoughts in a perfect world, I think this motherfucker right here runs this camp. That's my thoughts.
Thing is, whatever it takes,
down to work with anybody and everybody. You know what I mean? So whatever makes Francis comfortable, we're down to do. You know, I will reach out. We can talk to everyone from Derek James to any coach you want, Freddie Roach, you know, all of them. I know them all. That's up to what makes Francis happy. I know we could get him ready to defeat Tyson Fury 100%.
We got a pizza. We can all get a slice.
Yeah.
People think, just yesterday, I got a text. I told a certain person, I said, brother, if I'm not training you, there's no one in the world I'd rather have training you than Eric Nicksick. Ask him. Just yesterday this happened to me. So I didn't care if Francis brought in Teddy Atlas, Sugar Hill, you know, whoever.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, I'm down to take a piece of this pie, whatever piece it is. I'm gonna be happy with it because I identified a long time ago. I'll show you guys a video. I'm gonna send it to you so you can play it on this. Way before Francis even fought Stipe the second time, I said, after we lost to Stipe, I said, guys, I'm not even worried. That's an experience thing. Francis will be UFC heavyweight champion. I'm gonna send that clip to you just so people know I'm not talking shit.
Yeah.
So I just knew that I didn't want him to think we were trying to politically persuade him to go with me as the coach. That's why I said, bro, first of all, people don't understand. Guys, I got 10 world championships I've won as a head boxing coach. 4 different fighters. So Bebu Shumanov, Jessica Rakosi, Jesse Vargas, and Carlos Takam. We knocked out Olympic gold medalists in France. So anyway, I got a lot of championships in boxing, but I was uncomfortable because I didn't want him to feel like we were trying to levy him into using me as his coach.
Right.
And I didn't want people to think, oh, Dewey's going to be negative if he brought in Teddy Atlas or whoever he brought in.
No, you were always going to be positive.
Yeah, I'm like, bro, listen, I'm on the team. I'm cool with it.
Yeah.
I could be the starting quarterback, the receiver, or the fucking field goal kicker.
Right.
I'm a
team guy.
I'm a team guy.
I'm gonna give an effort that helps us do better than what we wouldn't.
Right.
And that's what a coach does. We try to enhance people. And sometimes we enhance them a little bit, sometimes we enhance them a lot. Yeah. And so that's why I was uncomfortable because I was like, oh no, you know, and I'm human too. I wanted to say, no, Dewey sucks. I need a real boxing coach. I don't want to hear that shit either.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean? It was just uncomfortable for me. I was like, oh no, why the fuck am I here now?
Yeah.
You know, but it worked out.
Those are conversations you have to have, I feel like, though.
Yeah, you know, those moments where shit could go weird. And of course, knowing Francis' history with his last coach, you don't want to, I didn't want him to feel like we were trying to boss him around or levy him or wedger him.
I think that's part of the thing that Francis has grown to be the person he is today is because his circle remains tight.
Yes.
But the people that are in that circle, he trusts.
Yes.
So having that conversation, I knew that you weren't going to go and politic for yourself to be in that position.
Yeah, I definitely wasn't.
But I knew that
for
that
the record,
was my role.
I wasn't saying shit.
I knew that I had to
to
say it. I had to say it on behalf of my brother, but I also it was a reminder to Francis, hey, there's somebody sitting at this table that is very well qualified, a guy that we already is vetted, that's vetted with you, who's been with you forever and longer than I've been your coach in the UFC.
Yeah.
And you sitting right next to us. Why not Dewey?
Yeah.
Right? I think that's exactly what I said.
That's what you said. When you said that, my heart went, shit, this motherfucker that put me on the spot ain't got nothing to say. And I'll never forget it. Hey, I got the video too. And guys, this is so real, so deep. We talking about this. You guys understand. I got the video in my phone right now. I ain't never posted this shit. When you posted that video, I said, shit. I feel like a kid with my dad.
I had to post it for your birthday.
My dad was going to get mad or something. I'm like, oh, no,
I'm
don't
sure
do
Francis
that.
got mad. I'm sure he did. But I think people need to understand that there is a level of selflessness that you have always carried. Yeah. But there is a part of that story that I think needed to be told because I wanted you to get your flowers, man. Like you always have. But you in that position with what happened fighting Tyson Fury earned, deserved, and needed to have those flowers, bro.
Thank you.
Because I mean, like, look, dude, we're a family, and that's part of being a family is we fight for one another in that moment. And not only did I believe in you, I knew you could do the job.
Yeah.
Yes.
And sure as shit, bro, you went out there and exceeded expectations of what, you know, the only people that mattered were the people at that table.
Yeah.
Yes.
We all believed in one another.
Yes.
And no matter what, fucking the outcome, I'm going to live and die by that outcome.
Yeah.
Yes. And just remember, like, for me, fighting guys is like, it truly saved my life. Martial arts and fighting particularly saved my life, man. Imagine if I was
you could have been a
member.
DJ.
Yeah. I mean, remember, I did rapping, DJing, a lot of stuff. But imagine if I would have started selling crack like my brother Paul. Imagine if I would have been a gang member, started killing people and got life in prison or killed myself. You know, it was so easily, my story could have went that way.
Fork in the
Martial arts is what made me want to do it. My first fight as a 10-year-old kid, I walked in there, I'll never forget, got on the scale, no big deal. You weigh in the same day, by the way. No big deal. I was an unknown dude. Nobody gave a fuck about little black kid. They said my name. A few people may have clapped. After the fight, when I won, everyone cheered and said my name. People wanted to get pictures with me. This back in the Polaroid days.
Right.
That changed my life, man. I was like, holy shit, nobody gave a fuck about me, 2 hours ago. Now everybody want to hug me and touch me and take pictures with me and shit. Yeah. I got my first autograph, like my third amateur fight or something. Back there, some person, never forget a person, some guy walked up to me, a white dude, white man, and said, hey, son, I want your signature. You're going to be something great. I wonder if you're still alive now. I would love to see this guy. That shit meant something to me, man. It changed my life. So now, moving forward to these moments, that moment with Francis, I was like, man, listen, I just want to be part of the team and be part of instrumental part that helps him be successful. And I've always felt the way about coaching, man. All I care about is a person, when it's all said and done, whether I get the credit or not, I look at the camera, I don't care what the people say. I don't care what the fans say. I don't care if people think I'm good or not. As long as the person I work with can look at me later on in his life, 20 years from now, and say, hey, man,
you added value.
Dewey helped me become better. Dewey was a good coach.
Yep.
That's all I give a fuck about. And so when you did it that day, I was like, oh, no. and it went the way it went.
You remember
when
I left because I had to go corner Taylor?
Yeah.
And I was leaving and you ran out after me.
Yeah.
And you just gave me the biggest hug in the world. You're like, yo, I love you, motherfucker.
No, I called you the ill word, too. I said, dude, that's the realest shit ever. Like, I feel weird as shit now. I'll never forget it, but it meant something to me. It's people don't realize how things matter, man. That day at that table, I'll never forget that because I was thinking, oh no, that Fernand Lopez shit about to happen. You know what I mean?
Did all of that kind of come out when you gave the I Believe speech? Or did kind of all of that shit just kind of come to a head? And you know what I mean?
I don't know if I was thinking about that. I was just thinking about, guys, this is about to be the most unprecedented shit. He's about to take it a step farther than what Conor McGregor did with Floyd. Conor did a good job against Floyd, but Conor was a younger guy, the way bigger guy, supposed to be the stronger guy. Floyd was out of his prime, and Conor still did a good job. But now we're fighting a younger fighter. A bigger fighter in his prime, his first fight, where Francis, the odds Francis went against versus what Conor went against Mayweather was totally lopsided toward Tyson Fury. So that speech was just a moment like, this is truly possible.
Yeah.
If anyone could make this possible, it's Francis.
Yeah.
You say it all the time. I say it all the time. He makes the impossible possible. He makes the improbable probable, because him getting here, man, the stories he done told us about being in jail and trapped in the Sahara Desert, sleeping in the wilderness and shit,
is a story in its own.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm telling you right now, I would have never made it out of Cameroon. I would have thought I was gonna go. I would have started walking on foot.
Yeah.
Hitchhiking and shit. 2 days later, I would have came back home and be like, I want to fight, man, but it's just not here for me.
I made the Sahara Desert. I'm turning my ass back around.
Yeah.
So that moment was like, Francis, just know if you believe tonight, you can win this shit. And we all about energy. We joke about it all the time.
You read the room perfectly that night.
But
You nailed it.
But it was because one thing we do believe, fight time, you really a stickler about this. When it's fight time, whether it's Francis or whoever, you don't want them indecisive eyes that look a panic in people's faces, because the fighter can feel that shit too.
100%.
If we're in there, if we're in there shaking and worried, the fighter's like, yo, what, am I about to die tonight? What's going on?
When it's time to go.
So
baby.
that me calling all you guys out individually was just so Francis truly knew that we all 100% believe he could do it, and he was gonna do it. And then right there, we did the Superman punch, and everybody went nuts.
Mike Tyson's secret weapon.
Yes. And we went out there, and real fast. To me, that was the corniest shit ever. We walk out, and that Sparta shit going on. Guys, in case you didn't know, we had the whole Tyson team standing in front of our walkway on some Sparta chanting.
This is Sparta.
You know, it was crazy. I'm thinking, guys, the only war about to happen is Francis and Tyson. When we got 20 guys with Sparta gear
We're all
on.
giggling, though.
Yeah, we were. I
giggling.
tell you what,
That
though,
was the
man,
dumbest shit ever.
it switched the whole energy in the room. You read it perfectly. And, you know, Francis is not a rah-rah guy. You'll never see him get too high. You'll never see him get too low. He doesn't like yell or scream really or anything like that. And after that speech, Francis, like, you know what I mean? Like, he was he felt it.
Right
and
away.
That's when, like, I think we all knew, like, okay, like the energy just flipped, because you could say whatever you want. Francis is going to be who he is no matter what. And in that moment, though, it got to him, and you could tell he believed it, because we all believed it. And you did it. And I'm so, as the content professional, I'm so mad that it's not on film, but it almost is better, because it just lives in lore. Because it is, because I wasn't filming, Roke wasn't filming.
There's just something intimate about that moment that you had to be there moment that we can explain it as much as we can, and the power of what went on in that moment will never be replicated. You can't ever feel that moment.
No.
Like we were talking last week, just like how much positive energy Izzy brought to the room, and like Izzy watching you warm him up, and like, oh fuck, Southpaw, what? Oh, Superman punch, loses his shit. Like,
Do it.
Jesus.
Yeah, Izzy was hyping. Izzy talked about that speech too. He said that was incredible. And I wasn't even thinking of it like that. I just wanted
that's what makes it so much better.
I just wanted Francis to know everybody
everybody
believed in him 100%. Every soul in that room was not there just for the popularity of the event. They were there because they believed in Francis. And so many times we see the entourage in the locker room. Half the time, guys don't even know who you fought your last fight. They just want to be there because you're the popular guy. And so that was one locker room that had a lot of people in it. But it was people who all had love for Francis and who all believed that he could win, man. That was awesome.
No, it was invigorating. Like, you could feel that energy in that room, and you really harnessed that moment so well. And this, I have a list of my favorite Dewey moments of all time. Like, they rank up there, but that one in particular, you own that moment so perfectly for the magnitude of what we're about to walk out to. And, my friend, you put a cherry on top of that entire camp. Like I was saying, the conductors to the orchestra, the gongs are going off, and the fucking symphony, bro. You nailed it, man. And then we go out there.
And then that walkout.
The walkout was amazing.
The fight, knocking him down, bouncing on his toes in the 10.
Yeah, you did your thing, my man.
I want to ask both of you this, and I haven't asked you this at all either. When you think about his last 4 fights, like, it's the most insane shit ever. Like, it really is. For any athlete who has ever fought, to defend his world championship on a blown out knee, to then fighting the lineal heavyweight champion, WBC heavyweight champion in his prime, to then fighting the second best heavyweight in his prime at that time, maybe, whatever. To then the Ferreira fight going back to MMA with the loss of Kobe. Like, how can you guys even describe what that, like, it's been a 3-year stretch at this point?
Wow.
Well, every fight, I think, has a different connotation to it. You even go back and look at the COVID fight with Jairzinho. We battled a different fight. Every fight was a fight within itself. We did the uncertainty of what we had to deal with COVID. When we're going to fight, we're on call, basically on a pager, essentially, right? Like, when we get that call, you guys will go fight. there was no date. We were given a date.
It was March, then
April, and then we're going to go to this Indian reservation to fight in Mohegan Sun, or not? Was it?
Yeah.
No.
Well, Tachi
Palace.
Palace.
Then it was this, and it was that. So just the uncertainty of that entire, not only the uncertainty of the camp, but the world of what we were going to experience.
Yes.
There was that fight. Then it was the Stipe fight, which we touched on a little bit. Then it was the Gane fight, which touched on. Then the leaving of the UFC, fighting Tyson Fury. I felt like the AJ fight, although it was negative, the outcome was negative. The process of what Francis went through that entire camp, all of us saw what type of boxer he was becoming.
Yes.
I remember showing up going like, holy shit, like look how good he is.
I remember that.
Right? Like, holy fuck. And I remember just you and Jon like singing your guys' praise, like, this is a fucking boxer now. Like, what are we dealing with here? And then, and then the tragic loss of Kobe. That was a different spin on the entire thing, because I remember him and I just, oh my God, like that experience of like the fight within itself was the fight for Kobe.
Yes.
That was that, man. It was different.
And this was a fight that I had worry. Even in the gun fight, after we decided he was fighting, I had no more worries. The Fury fight, no worries. The Joshua fight, no worries. This fight, I have serious worries because Francis was being very nice and cool in camp, strangely cool in camp. He's always cool, but he was like a super nice guy. I'm thinking, if somehow to my daughters, I probably wouldn't be mean or aggressive, but I would probably be more depressed and more somber. He was cool in camp. So I thought, I'm worried about fight night. When that adrenaline hits him, he's fighting some big, tough Brazilian champion that saying he's gonna knock him out and shit. I'm like, is the death of his son gonna go in his spirit, and he try to take it out on someone and go in there and gets crazy. So I was really stressing about, as we walked out, I was stressing about when the bell rings, is he going to be cool? Because we knew if he was cool and use his skills, what was going to happen. We all knew he was going to win the belt. Yeah. But I just, because he handled it, I hate to say it like this, he handled that way better than what I would have handled it. Just all of that. And I'm sure he had dark moments and pain and hurt. That's his son. I'm sure he's still hurt. But for him to be able to perform like that so recently after that happened, another thing I really admire about him, man.
Yeah. I definitely noticed a big change, and you and I talked about this in Paris. Francis felt more human.
Yeah.
He felt more human.
Yeah.
It was my birthday when we were out there, and like, Francis has his thoughts on birthdays, and I think it's a funny take on shit, but like, it's not a big thing for him. And, I was like, I'm out there for camp for him. I'm spending my birthday out there with him and that, all the boys. And he made it a point to make it like, important. Like, we're going out, we're going to a concert, we're going to dinner, we're doing this. I'm getting a limo. And I'm like, really? Like, and then, he felt more caring.
Yes.
That entire camp, and it just felt different. And I think,
and me, I'm a weird dude. It felt different. So I was worried as fuck.
Right.
I'm like, oh no, he's gonna go nuts fight time. Like, he's gonna come unglued because he's
and like almost adrenaline dump.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I wasn't worried about the adrenaline dump. I was worried about him just getting too crazy. Like, is he gonna keep pounding this dude and the referee say stop? Is he gonna go out there and just emotionally break down like Oliver McCall did against Lennox Lewis? I just didn't know what was going to happen because, he handled it very well. And he was being very nice and human this camp. And man, like I said, I can't say enough about Francis. He's one-on-one, man. He's
even the night of the fight, he when I got there, Dewey kind of cued me in before I got out there about Francis's complaining about the ribs and some rib stuff that was going on. And we got out there and there was some injury problems that that
people didn't even know he had injuries in the last fight.
Right. Yeah.
He still got it done.
Yeah. But there was definitely a shift in demeanor getting out to Saudi Arabia of uncertainty.
Yes.
Even I say this, man, and I think I might have said this publicly. It really helped when Henan got in his face. That weigh-in.
At the weigh-in?
We gave each other 5. When Henan got kind of Brazilian alpha, we said, thank you. We just do it.
Was
it's
that
so
what
funny.
he needed to kind of?
Oh, bro, it lit because you know there was no uncertainty I think at all with Francis. It was a shift in demeanor.
Yes,
It was a certain shift in demeanor where he went to the predator.
Yeah, he did.
He went to the predator, and he was like, "Oh, this motherfucker thinks he's gonna fuck me up."
Yeah.
And when he got in his face, and like I remember Francis kind of looking at like the disrespect, like,
Yeah.
"How dare you?
Yeah.
I'm the motherfucking king of this fucking jungle."
Yes.
Right. And he had that kind of look it up and down on him. And I remember
Yeah.
looking at him. I go,
Yeah.
"Oh, he fucked up."
Yeah, we did
Oh
that.
boy,
We
fucked
said that's
up.
exactly what we needed. That's exactly
Yep.
what we needed.
And lit a fire under his ass, bro. And that was an amazing, you know, like shift in energy. But you know, you and I talked about this before, like about an hour before we leave to get on the shuttle, we went and did the family prayer and then the family meeting, and we all spoke. And it was heavy.
Yeah.
It was heavy. And you know, like I don't want to say, you know, things that maybe Francis doesn't want out there, but
Yeah.
it was a heavy moment, but
Yeah.
it was an intimate moment amongst us.
Yes.
But that woman that said the prayer,
Yes.
bro, we didn't understand a word she said.
But you felt it.
Oh, did we feel it?
Yo, dude, I've never got the Holy Ghost, but I started shaking like this.
Swear to God, bro. Same.
Yeah.
Same.
It was a powerful passion speech, and I just felt, my spirit wake up. It was crazy.
She
man.
sent us out ready
Yeah.
to go. Like
Yeah.
this woman, and even Francis kind of giggled because we were talking about this.
Yeah.
We went to dinner a couple weeks
Yeah.
ago, and we're telling, Reese telling the story, and Francis is like, "Yeah, like she's not really like that either. Like
Really?
she's not even that. Like she was possessed by something,
Yeah.
Yes.
and she's fucking hitting the table, and she's saying, we didn't understand a word she
Right.
said.
But you
Yes.
felt it.
Bro,
Yes.
did we feel it?
Oh yeah.
Certain
Oh.
people, certain people just it gets into them.
Yeah.
Your speech, her speech.
Yeah. It was really good. And guys, real fast, just to shift, tell you something about my personal life. I did my shahada maybe 7-8 weeks ago. I'm officially Muslim now.
Congratulations.
In case you guys didn't know. And it's so funny, guys. I've been Muslim. You guys know that. I don't eat pork. I don't drink alcohol. I don't smoke. I've been Muslim. I was being lazy. And my life has changed since I did the shahada, guys. Like,
Congrats, brother.
Congrats.
I never really prayed before. And I've been praying and all of this. And real fast, not to get weird on you guys. When my daughter left, when Shaolin graduated from Gorman and went away to University of Reno, you guys didn't know this, man. I've been really, a part of my body like got taken out of me. What was it? Empty nest syndrome?
Yeah.
Dude.
Syndrome, yeah.
I'm one of them black dudes that don't believe in going to see psychiatrists and all of this stuff. I still haven't because I'm against that. But, dude, I almost broke down and went because I had a severe case of empty nesting, like
Right.
severe. I still got it. I laugh all the time. My daughter got back today and I still have it. But doing the shahada, praying to something, believing in something that's not tangibly, physically here on this earth
Right.
is the greatest thing I've ever done. You guys know it came up tough, all that, but my mom was a very loving mom. I loved my mom. So when she passed away in 2008, it took my spirit. My daughter, she was only 3 years old. She grew up and she kind of replaced that unconditional love factor. And with her leaving, guys, it's done a number on me. I've been poker facing this shit for a long
But dude,
time.
you're a great dad, and like
Yeah.
we would all see how much time and energy as coaches we travel so much, and the people that miss out on that time is our loved ones.
Yes.
But when you're at home and you're available, you're at our basketball games, you're taking her singing,
Yes.
you're promoting your daughter on
Yes.
all your social medias.
Yes.
That's one of the things that people don't really understand is like you're so proud
yes.
of her
Yeah.
and
Yes.
proud of the person that she is, that you share that to the world and you want
Yes.
people to see her shine.
Yes.
So you feeling that way, bro. I broke down last week because I missed my daughter's solo. I missed her birthday, all because I thought I was supposed to be in Tampa cornering a fighter, and he didn't tell me till 2 weeks before. And I'm like, wait. So I missed this opportunity to be a dad. Had nothing to do with being there for the fight.
Yeah.
I've been not necessarily fired, but I've been told I wasn't in a corner before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had no problem with that.
Yeah.
My problem is that I missed time to be a dad.
Yeah, that's right.
And that
That's
time I'll
right.
never get back.
Yeah. So I've been going through it, and my principles have always been Muslim as far as just be respectful. And if they disrespect you, then all else is off. And I'm trying to be a better person, but just to finally, and by the way, my lady Katrina, I love her to death. You know, my relationship is good with her, but when your kid goes, it's like someone unplug a part of you. So I don't want people to think, oh, my girl don't make me happy. I love my lady. We're good. But still, my daughter leaving to go away to Reno to college, it's really affected me hard. I couldn't feel that. Of course, Katrina, we're happy. Life is great. But I just couldn't feel something in my soul. And doing the shahada, going to the mosque, praying, reading the Quran has really helped me. Because think about this, guys, and I'm not trying to promote anyone to be any religion.
Yeah, just find the faith.
I'm 50 years old now, and it's crazy. I ain't do this till I was 50. But to finally love and have loyalty to something that's not tangible is so important. Like my whole life, I loved my mom. I love my daughter. I love doing martial arts. I love football. I love the Pittsburgh Steelers. All these things, when they go, it's like a huge void that can't be filled. Right. So for the first time, to love Allah, to read the Quran, to pray, all these things have actually filled that space. Of course, I still love my daughter Charlotte. I'm going to go see her after this. But it's crazy how I never really understood the value of religion until now, because when you're praying to God, Jesus, Muhammad, Allah, whoever you pray to, I understand now, because it's something that you can't touch and feel. That faith means so much more than what we think, and I finally figured that out at this age. It's crazy. And now you asked me how I'm doing. The reason why I said, man, I'm doing great. Of course, financially things are good with Team Combat League and Francis Ngannou. But I feel good now because finally that void that I was missing since Shaolin's been gone is filled. So now I got extra love because, you know, my daughter back, blah, blah, blah. But it's crazy, man, doing the shahada and actually praying and all these things that I'm doing now that I've never done before in my life really has made my life better, man. Look at me, I'm looking healthier. Yeah. Everything is just better, man. So
well, I don't think the Muslims order dessert first.
Yes, yeah, they definitely don't. They definitely don't. Oh yeah, but man, it's crazy. So I just want to say that, you know, it's crazy, man. I'm actually truly happy. You know what I mean? In every aspect of my life. And I definitely got to say, alhamdulillah, that's due to me doing the shahada and becoming, following Islam and becoming a Muslim. I needed that last void filled. And so many of us, if you have a void, look to something like religion, man. It could definitely help you. It definitely won't hurt.
Well, you lost weight because you're not in Paris and you're not eating croissants every day. Everything they had to do. I love it, brother.
And you spent like 14 weeks, 16 weeks in Saudi, and there's nothing else to do.
Nothing else to do.
Work out 3 times a day.
And these guys,
and avoid head-on collisions.
I love Saudi. These guys like Saudi. You know, it's a prohibition country. You can't drink. So they like it, but I love it because I don't drink anyway.
Anything bad about any of these countries. Not a thing. I love it every time I go there.
Except the Ubers. I will say
the Uber drivers are shit.
I don't like the Ubers in Saudi.
They don't drive on the right side of the road.
We almost died.
Hey, that was awesome, the Uber driver, man.
Awesome for who? Not for us.
Dude, it was crazy.
This guy's driving on the wrong side of the street, and I'm telling the guy the whole time, hey, this is the wrong side. Oh, inshallah, it's okay, inshallah.
Inshallah.
We're telling him you're on the wrong side of the road, dude.
Oh,
this car store coming at us.
Around the curve, the wrong curve.
He's maneuvering around the car. It's still good.
So, I just remember looking, I'm like, this is how I die.
Yeah.
I die in a head-on collision in Riyadh in an Uber going the wrong direction.
Move the traffic cones to then go the wrong direction.
Was it you that yanked the wheel over to get him off the...
I was trying to. Yes, I was in the front seat. Yes. I was trying to like, hey, bro, come over here.
And the whole time I was laughing.
White knuckles.
Like, dude, the whole time I'm laughing. I'm like, I can't believe this guy is so cool with this. Like, he was cool with it. I'm like, okay.
He was laughing the whole time. And we
he
were
thought
back
it was
there.
funny.
Yeah, no.
Dude, I really think the dude just wanted to pull our legs because we're American and make it seem like they're crazy and driving the wrong side of the road. I swear to God.
I don't know about that.
Yeah. Man.
Oh man, you guys rock, man. First of all, man, these guys hit me up a few weeks ago and said, hey, you gotta come on the show. And I cursed them both out. I called them the word I'm not supposed to be saying. And I just want to thank you guys for having me here, man. It means a lot.
You're
Eric,
family, bro.
I love you,
dude.
brother.
Love you too.
Randy, I love you, brother. Man, you guys rock. Man, listen, as far as fighters leaving coaches and stuff like that, as long as it's done tactfully and respectfully, it's okay. Every coach is okay with guys going other places. Just show your coach, proper passage by saying, hey, coach, thanks for the memories, whatever. I'm going to try this out. And we're all okay with that, man. Just do the right thing, man. We understand that we don't run you guys. We're not your fathers. We try to help you. We try to make you achieve things you want to achieve and take yourself to a higher level. That's it. If you feel someone can do that for you better, I don't blame you. Definitely go seek that next avenue. Just do it with respect because we do care about you guys, man. I care about every fighter I've ever trained until they disrespect me or do something foul to me. So just remember that, guys. Life is... One thing I noticed since I've been reading the Quran, man, life is all about helping people and doing your best to really try to be a good person and do the proper thing. If they're stepping down to let someone else spread their wings, you have to do that too, man. It's not about just what benefits us. It's about making your life better and trying to help the people around you be better, and never be happy at someone's failures and never brag about someone's missed opportunities, man. So man, I'm blessed. I feel good. I'm on Verse Us, which is the dopest podcast in the world. I just knew you were gonna name it Burn the Boats or some shit like that. Verse Us
long
is awesome.
Overdue, my man.
Yeah, I said Randy know his hip hop and shit. I said, Randy, you came with that name. You know what I mean? So, man, you guys, I love you guys.
Love you too, brother.
And by the way, man, Eric a real one, man. Like, I'm just gonna say this before I go. A few months ago, he called me. He was doing an article, and they were asking about coaches at Couture's. Eric called me and said, "Hey, man, do you mind if I throw your name in there?" I said, "Eric, it's an honor, man. For everyone out there, I'm an advocate of Extreme Couture's. I love Extreme Couture's since they've been open. And just understand that, guys. This is no separation. This is no versus each other, man. We are family, and that's it, man. This is a great sport we're in. Sometimes guys may have to fight each other, and sometimes we team it up together. One thing about me and Eric Nicksick, we are a championship winning team.
That's right.
He won his first UFC World Championship as a coach same day I did with the great man we talked about earlier. That's something that can never be changed. Don't look at me like I'm an adversary or Eric's an adversary of me. We are united and we help each other and we talk and try to wish each other the best every chance we get.
Yeah,
man. So
you were the first one to call me when Sean won the belt, and I know not to get into backstory, but like you've always been so like you've always wanted my success.
Yes.
And have always been an advocate for me. And bro, I mean, dude, I can't thank you enough. And I hope that when this, we all hang it up, that my name is always going to be synonymous with yours in the history of what we've done in the sport. Bouncer and bartender.
Yes, sir. I'm glad, real fast, I'm glad you said that. Guys, a lot of people think that because of Sean's comments about me, like, oh, why you ain't do something? You're scared? I'm not scared of Sean, none of that. I can say it now. I'll tell the world. I never said this anywhere else. The reason why I didn't have some kind of outlandish rebuttal, go try to fight him and shit like that is because I'm a coach. Mm-hmm. And being a coach means you have to be accessible to your fighters. Jake Shields made the mistake of beating the dude up at the UFC PI. I was there. I'm the one with the yellow badass Nike on. But then he couldn't go to the gym anymore, which affects the fighters.
Yeah.
If I can't go to the UFC PI to train my guys, if I can't go to a gym I've been going to since they've been open, Extreme Couture's, to train my guys, I did my fighters a disservice. This is what I mean about being not being selfish. It's not just about me. Sean say, oh, I suck, all this, whatever. if I fight him or go to Couture's and pull out the jammy and pistol whip him or something, I just ruined our relationship because I can't go to extremes anymore. Now I can't train the Basharat brothers, Twilight Timmy, all these guys. I do this shit at the UFC PR when I see them. I can't train none of my guys. So that's the reason why I let it go, because I know Sean means well. He's just an outspoken dude. He says how he feels.
Put a mic in front of him and watch him go.
You know what I mean? So I'm not even tripping about what Sean say or what any other man say.
Yeah.
All that matters to me are my family, my fighters, and my friends. And these guys right here are my family, they're fighters, and they're my friends. So I would never take a chance on ruining a relationship with him because some dude said I'm not good. People are entitled to their own opinions. My fight record, I got way more wins than losses.
Yep.
My losses came at the end of my career in a weight class I wasn't supposed to be in after 4 knee surgeries. By the way, I've had 4 of them. And I was getting old, but they're still offering me money to fight. So of course I'm gonna take the fight. I'll fight now. You know, I'm a fighter. But if you watch those fights, go watch the Carter Williams fight. Watch the Glabe Fatoso fight. Watch the fight with Fujimoto. Watch the fight with Gary Goodrich. Watch the fight with Gary Goodrich. And you tell me who won. You know what I mean? So that's all I have to say about that. I wish Sean the best. I got no animosity toward him. I just know, you know, oil and milk don't mix. I see him. I just keep away from him. He keep away from me. It's all good. I'm not gonna stop going to.
No, that got squashed. Though.
Yeah. I'm not gonna stop going to extreme couture because some guy said, you know, things that I didn't like to hear. Yeah. Sometimes people don't like you, and that's okay. Yeah. You know, I don't give a fuck about that. But I'm not about to ruin relationships and things that I've had for years because one person said something bad about me. Yeah. Who cares? And you guys should be mature like that too. People are entitled to their opinions. If they say something bad about you, as long as they're not dissing your family, your religion, or your kids, you know, who cares what they say about you? If someone says I suck, 100 people say I don't. You know, who's right?
It's ones that matter.
You know what I mean? All that truly matters when it comes to people's speculation and conversation about you is how you ingest it and how you feel about yourself.
That's right.
If someone say, Dewey, you suck, you're not a good coach. If I feel like I'm a good coach, guess what? I'm a good coach.
That's right.
If I start letting that words make me feel like I'm not a good coach, then I'm not a good coach.
You're the right coach for your fighters, man. You always have been.
And everything about life is what we feel, what we do with that feeling. And so I got nothing but the best. And I did call you when Sean won because I was happy for you.
Yeah.
Regardless of what he said about me, I was like, crazy. I knew that Sean could win that fight if he came tenacious.
Right.
We even talked about that day at Francis' gym.
Yeah.
I said, hey, he has a chance this fight.
He did, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Sure,
that
sure.
pressure.
Yeah.
And so
Francis said, no fucking shot.
He did. Yeah. I said styles make fights.
You did, bro.
And man, the pressure could be the nemesis style for him.
Yeah.
And you know, I love Izzy. So I wasn't happy that Izzy lost, but I was happy for you. And so
That's what I love about you, man. You've always been.
And I want you guys to be successful. I want him to
100%.
beat Drickus or whatever, just because that's another championship for you.
Yeah.
Regardless how I feel about him. You know what I mean?
You, brother.
And so the reason why I haven't disrespected him or talk shit about him is because I value my relationships with you.
Yeah, love
I
you,
value the political things I can do at the UFC PI. And it's not even worth it to me because people are entitled to their own opinions, man. Right. You know what I mean? It just sucks. The world heard them talking shit about me, but I'm like, hey, bro, I got more wins than losses, man. I got championships.
And done it.
And I'm in the Hall of Fame. And I was part of Francis' championship too. And Jesse Vargas and Babu Shumanov and Jessica Rakosi and so many others, Carlos Takum, so many champions that I've trained and I've helped that no one can take
Never,
that from me.
Because your heart's always been in the right place, man.
Yeah. So I'm glad you brought that up. I wasn't even thinking about that, but since you did, we gotta talk about it. So great, man. Life is great. I'm Muslim now, crazy.
Yeah.
And my life is better and I'm happier. And I'm actually managing stress way better too. So
good. What are you doing for that?
Just
Working
pray.
out?
You pray and you read the Quran. And it just makes you say, you know what? I'm okay. Because now I know why, you know, all those, you know, the Khabibs and all of them, they're always praying when they go to the ring. They're always saying Allahu Akbar and Alhamdulillah and all of that. Because at the end of the day, all they're saying is the song, the song, for instance, comes out to God's plan. All they're saying, whatever happens, it's God's plan.
God's hands,
and it's in God's hands. I'm going to be able to handle it anyway because I'm only a vessel through Him. We're only here because something created us, no matter what we think. And so when you start thinking like that, it does lessen the stress. Whatever happens, whether I get knocked out in the first round or win by first round knockout, it's all the will of God. I'm simply a vessel expressing that. And that's a very comfortable feeling, win or lose. And so now I know how that works because I never really believed into entities outside of self and my family. And it's a beautiful thing that I finally got that right because I feel more complete.
Yeah, definitely.
So anyway, thank you guys for
having
me,
thank
man.
you. Thank
Love
you.
brother.
You know, I said this to both of you before, but you know, it has been such an honor to be on that team for the last, 4.5, 5 years. Like watching you guys, I've been around a lot of fighters when I was at UFC. I worked with a lot of fighters outside of when I left UFC, and watching like the brotherhood you guys have and the camaraderie and the way you guys operate it gives me chills, man. It makes me emotional. It's really, really cool. I feel like you don't see that. It's definitely not in the fight game, but very rarely amongst any team sports where the coaches or front office members, if you will, are so intertwined.
Yes.
And it's just been an honor for me to watch you guys. I love you guys like brothers.
Love you too, bro.
You guys are awesome.
Thank
so
you. We love you, Randy.
appreciate you letting me be a part of it the last few years. And I can't wait to see how it all goes and stay in touch forever.
Yes, sir. And last thing I got to say before you close the show, Randy, for the last time, I'm sure everyone out there agrees, Michael Jordan is the GOAT. LeBron is number 2. He hates me. Every time I see a poster about Jordan being better than LeBron, I send it to him. I DM him
times a day about
all the time.
Samsung or
all
Apple.
the time.
Yeah.
I DM, dude.
Android
I'm like
or
a crazy
iPhone.
stalker to his DMs. I DM every day about Jordan being better than LeBron.
He's not, but you can have your opinion. So it's an old head opinion,
I'm gonna make him one day say, "Okay, man, Jordan's the greatest."
Never. This won't happen. Who's your pick?
What?
Jordan or LeBron?
Larry Bird. He wears that Celtics Bird jersey more than anybody I know.
Danny Ainge. Come on. Come on, guys. Everybody knows Steve Kerr.
Mark Price. All the white guards.
I'm an old head too. I go Jordan, man.
Yeah. No chance. You guys are both wrong, but it's okay.
Love you, bro.
but my favorite player, probably of all time, you all know.
Curry?
Steph Curry, the chef Steph. I love Steph, man. I love Steph.
He's awesome. He's like not even top 10, but he's good. He's good. He's good for sure.
Oh, George's the best. Steph number 2.
Stop
LeBron 3.
Cut this fucking
Kobe
podcast.
number 4.
Steph fucking number 2. Get the fuck out of my face. Man. All right, Dewey, thank you. Obviously, thank you for coming.
Yes,
I'm sure you'll be on again.
Yes, sir. Thank you, guys.
That does it for another episode of Verse Us with Eric Nicksick, our Christmas episode. Merry Christmas to everyone out there. Make sure you like and subscribe on YouTube. Leave a comment below. Let us know who you want to see on the show, what questions you have. Also, make sure you subscribe on any audio platform, Spotify, Apple Music, Google Play, iHeartRadio, etc. We're on all of those. And make sure you follow the show on social media at VSUS Pod. For Eric and Dewey, I'm Randy. We'll see you guys next time.